So welcome to the 50th annual Gold Award program. And I already talked about the cameras. We'll be turning those back on at the end. For presenters with multiple awards, please introduce your awardees one at a time and allow for the awardee to make their remarks before introducing your next awardee. For those of you who are awardees and you don't know, once you're presented with the award by someone from your society, we'd just like to hear a couple sentences from you talking about why it's important to belong to a technical society and how it's impacted your personal life and your professional career. I want to thank our sponsors, Citizen Insurance and Heartland Insurance. And now I would like to introduce our current chair of the Affiliate Council, Vikrant Shetterwar. Vikrant, you can turn on your video.
Good evening, this is Vikrant Chiddarwar. The ESD Affiliate Council represents affiliated technical societies around the Michigan region who meet monthly to share best practices and collaborate and cross-promote programming. Some of our programming includes participating in the Michigan Regional Future City Competition, creating and staffing a Maker Faire booth at Henry Ford to promote STEM education, and a safety committee to promote a safety culture for our students and engineers. I would like to now welcome you all to the Gold Award program, and thank you for connecting tonight and helping us honor our awardees. And now I would like to honor Brett Eyrick for his leadership and commitment to ESD and to the Affiliate Council by serving as a chair for 2018 to 2019.
Good evening. Great. Thank you so much. The engineering societies in my life have been very instrumental, especially in the pre-engineering days where we did not have an internet because we had the internet of communication directly face to face, which has been sadly missed in the last year. And I trust that we will have a rebirth of that as we sort out our pandemic. I'm very grateful for the efforts of ESD and others in accepting this award. And I will continue to support the organization in every possible way in the future. Thank you.
Next, I would like to honor Jack Stein, who served as the affiliate chair from 2019 to 2020 and further stepped up to help the committee transition during the pandemic and continue to hold meetings throughout the summer. Thank you, Jack, for your continued dedication to the ESD and Affiliate Council.
Yes, thank you, Vikrant. It really was quite an honor to serve. And after many years with several different engineering societies, I remember that I joined IEEE in my first year of electrical engineering at the University of Windsor, which was a very, very young age. And I remember that our professor basically just and back in those days, as Brett said, we were not highly computerized with the internet, but we had the application form for IEEE on our desk when we went to class one day. And all of us signed up, and I remember the dues was $15 per year, and we got a wonderful Spectrum magazine. And I started with IEEE as an electrical engineer. And then I got a job at Buick Engineering in Flint, Michigan. And one of the older fellows came up to me and said, you really need to join SAE. So I joined SAE and I ended up on the governing board as the ticket chairman. And I had the job of printing dinner tickets for the dinner meetings. And that led to many, many years with SAE. And years later, at Ford Motor Company, I was introduced to INCOSE, the International Council on Systems Engineering, and at that time, Ford Motor Company had a systems engineering council, and that was a big deal. That was 2000. And fast forward a bit, years later, I was introduced to Engineering Society of Detroit, and what was really cool is Engineering Society of Detroit Affiliate Council had members from IEEE and SAE and a heck of a lot of other professional societies. And it was just wonderful for all these organizations to come together. And I think we have accomplished a lot of good things and can accomplish a lot more very good things. So thank you, Vikrant.
Thank you.
And now I would like to bring on Michael Stewart of Stewart Fishman, a member of the ESD Tech Century editorial board and generous sponsor of the student writing contest and scholarship. So he may present it to Grace Zalubas.
Thank you very much. I'm Michael Stewart, and as was already noted, I'm an attorney with the intellectual property firm of Fishman Stewart. In addition to my Juris Doctorate, I also have a master's degree in engineering and an English degree, and our firm is honored to be a sponsor of the writing contest. The rule of the writing contest is for a student to write a 750-word essay on one of three topics that were chosen by the Tech Century editorial board this year. The three topics were: how do you feel about the COVID-19 pandemic and how it's affected your engineering education? And how have you academically met the challenges that it brings? The second topic is: why did you decide to pursue engineering in your particular field? And how do you anticipate the work to evolve over the course of your career? And the final option was to explain what you consider to be the most amazing feat of engineering over the last 100 years and why, and how did it change the world of engineering? We received a lot of really good responses, and the top three responses that we received in terms of essays are in the most recent edition of Tech Century, and I will provide a link to that. But I'm very honored this evening to congratulate Grace Zalubas on winning the writing contest this year. And actually, she was also our winner in 2020. So congratulations to Grace. Grace is in the University of Michigan College of Engineering. She's working on a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. She's already worked as a professional intern with Tetra Tech, and she has received a number of honors and awards while at the University of Michigan and at an earlier school as well. So Grace, congratulations again, and would you like to give a couple of words? Thank you.
Thank you again, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is Grace Zalubas, and I'd really just like to thank the Engineering Society of Detroit, the Tech Century editorial board, and Fishman Stewart for making this award possible. And I'm really grateful that I had the chance to enter this writing contest again this year. As Michael mentioned, I entered it last year, and I really enjoyed writing the essay and working on these different topics that the Tech Century editorial board puts out. And I really look forward to participating again next year. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Grace, and thank you, everybody.
Congratulations, Grace. I'm sorry I don't have the sound effects. Next, I would like to bring on Tim Fino and Kathy Kitzman with the Science and Engineering Fair of Metro Detroit as they honor their Science Teacher of the Year, Rebecca Brewer.
53 weeks ago today, we conducted the 63rd Science and Engineering Fair at the TCF Center. The very next day, Michigan went into lockdown. 1 week ago, last Wednesday, we again conducted the science fair, but this time it was a virtual science fair. 9 affiliate council organizations like Air and Waste Management, IEEE, ASHRA, NSBE, Society for Hispanic Engineers, ASM, EMA, ACS, EIO, and others participated by evaluating the projects of these bright young men and women. And next year, we anticipate even more affiliate council organizations to be involved by fulfilling their individual goals and getting youth involved. None of this would have been possible had it not been for the teachers of these students. Teachers have been the bedrock and foundation and helped inquisitive students gain their first real knowledge into problem solving and doing an experiment. Such is the case for Rebecca Brewer, teacher of Troy High School, who has sponsored students for over 15 years and had numerous Grand Award students. This year, Rebecca was nominated by one of her students who knew firsthand how important the teacher is, especially in a COVID-19 world. Kathy Kitzman, the first Science Fair Teacher of the Year, and I are pleased to recognize Rebecca Brewer as our Teacher of the Year for 2021. Rebecca?
Thank you, Tim. That was really nice. And Kathy as well. I'm so grateful to the Science and Engineering Fair of Metro Detroit. I've had students involved for so long now, and it's really launched so many careers in terms of where these kids end up in life. So I'm so grateful for this honor today, and I look forward to kids doing well in the future with Science and Engineering Fair as well. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca.
Congratulations, Rebecca.
Am I on now, Alana?
Yes, you
Sure.
are, Paul.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Prentice from the R.L. Detman Company, and as chair of the Honors and Awards Committee for the Detroit chapter of ASHRA, I'm very proud to present two members of our chapter tonight that have received very well-deserved awards. It's fitting tonight that we are celebrating ESD awards in the middle of Women's History Month. Both of our awardees tonight are great women contributors to our chapter. The ESD Gold Award winner for 2021 is Janice Means from the Detroit chapter of ASHRA. Applause. I have known Janice as an active member of our chapter since I joined ASHRA in 1986. Janice joined the chapter in 1985. Her commitment to ASHRA Society, high school and college students, and our Detroit ASHRA chapter has been consistent and reliable for all these years. I really have not seen such devotion like Janice's to this society by any other member, including society presidents. And after 35 years as a member, she is still going strong in her volunteerism. Even before becoming an ASHRA member, Janice was involved in the Michigan Solar Energy Association when solar energy was not widely promoted. Energy efficiency and sustainability has always been a hot topic for Janice, and her involvement as an author, presenter, and coordinator of 10 sustainability conferences has helped to improve the sustainability literacy of students, professionals, and the general public. It also has kept the Detroit chapter professionals keenly involved in designing new construction projects with energy efficiency in mind. The chapter meetings are often beneficiaries of Janice's thoughts and ideas on efficient designs. The students she has worked with in our area, and particularly at Lawrence Technological University, are now contributing to the designs at several local and national consulting firms. Janice has also contributed to significant ASHRAE publications which extend and promote industry knowledge related to sustainability. She was a co-author and co-editor of the ASHRAE Green Guide and a strong contributor to the new 2021 ASHRAE Fundamentals Handbook, Climate Change chapter, as well as Energy Guidelines for Historic Buildings. She also contributed to the editing of ASHRAE Chapter 36 on solar energy equipment. This is all in addition to her numerous publications and presentations at local, national, and international conferences and seminars. Janice also just received the prestigious ASHRAE E.K. Campbell Award, which is an International ASHRAE Society Award for her contributions to HVAC education. This prestigious award includes a $10,000 honorarium and a beautiful plaque to commemorate her accomplishments. Janice, we appreciate all your hard work and dedication and congratulate you on being awarded the Engineering Society of Detroit's Gold Award.
Thank you, Paul. I'm waiting for Alana to let me share the screen. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate such a wonderful introduction.
Well deserved.
The Gold Award is ESD Affiliate Council's most prestigious distinction given to an outstanding engineer or scientist. Through her professional accomplishments, Janice exemplifies the characteristics and integrity of this tribute. She will join a legacy of outstanding engineers and technical professionals as the 50th recipient. She will now share her presentation.
Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell a story tonight, and this is a story of gratitude and life lessons. I started life as the daughter of actually a poor family. Neither of my parents went to high school. So how did I get to the point that I'm receiving the Gold Award this year? Well, it was standing on the shoulders of others and the wonderful mentors that I had. And my first mentor was really my father, Alan Means. He virtually built the house around us, and he would do everything. He didn't stop anywhere if he would try it. So my first life lesson from him was that you can do anything if you're willing to try and work hard at it. He wasn't educated, but he was very smart. He taught me math, little things, tricks with math. He also sat with me as I watched Sputnik go by, showing my age here. I developed, I think, a thirst of learning from him, and especially got interested in science and math, which continued on. This is a picture from my high school yearbook. That's me. I was a brunette then, before I started turning gray. And I did well in science and math. My high school counselor, who's on tonight, Don Arson, noticed this. And by the way, Don Arson was one of the founders of Oakland Community College. He asked me when I was 15 if I wanted to be an exchange student. And I said, I'd love to, but I can't. And he said, why not? And I said, well, I come from a poor family. There's no way they could afford to send me to Europe. So he helped me get a job as a waitress at Richardson's Farm Dairy to earn the money to be an exchange student. I'm just ready to get on a prop jet to go to the Netherlands. And over here, my two of my 6 sisters, they're the ones standing, and I are in costume from 100 years prior in the Netherlands. Coming back, I was so grateful for such an amazing trip and amazing adventure. And I was really surprised that other students on the plane weren't. And I started talking to them and I found out that their parents had paid their way. They had been given $300, $500 spending money, and I had borrowed $100 as spending money. So I learned something with that. I learned that appreciation is a function of sacrifice. Then one day when I was in Don's office, he asked me if I wanted to become an engineer. I said no. I had no clue what an engineer was, and I didn't think to ask. So life lesson next, don't be afraid to ask questions. Then in my senior year, he came and he said, you have a full tuition scholarship to what is now Oakland University. The problem was I hadn't applied. I had said I was going to apply to Oakland University and Oakland Community College, but thinking that I wouldn't get the scholarship, I only applied to OCC. See, it was $10 for each application then. $10 was a tremendous amount of money for me then. So Don helped me get admitted to Oakland University quickly. Life lesson, have confidence in yourself. I went on to get a bachelor's in education with a physics minor and to teach 7th and 8th grade math and science for 4 years. Almost immediately, I started working on my master's. I took one class. I did really well, but I was kind of bored. I noticed that they had engineering classes at night, so I thought I'd take 1 or 2 engineering courses, but I got hooked on engineering. Life lesson, have confidence to do what makes you the happiest. Enter Dr. Robert Edgerton. He was a mechanical engineering professor, and I was at the point that I only had 300 and 400 level engineering courses to take, and I decided to leave teaching and go to school full time. But the problem was every engineering class had a lab, and I didn't know how I could take 4 engineering classes with labs and survive. So I decided I was going to try to get an independent study. And I heard that Dr. Edgerton would give you an independent study if you did something on solar energy. At that time, I wasn't interested in solar energy, but I thought, okay, I will do it on the research of the design of a solar dwelling. Little did I know that this would become a lifelong passion. So life lesson, sometimes you find your lifelong passions in indirect ways. And something I want to share, especially if there are any students, women and minority students especially. I was walking across campus on my senior year, and I just stopped in my tracks and I thought to myself, I'm not supposed to be here. So what's the life lesson here? Everyone has doubts at various times in their life. So you just have to keep pressing onward. So I did. I got my BS in general engineering. And then after I graduated, Dr. Edgerton contacted me and he said, I'd like you to consider writing some articles for a local magazine called Doing More with Less, because you can write them on solar energy. And I thought, oh, this is great. So I did. Life lesson, be open to new opportunities. Well, this brought me other opportunities. The Michigan Solar Energy Association Board of Directors had read some of the articles, and I guess they were impressed by it, so they asked me to be on the board. I also became active in several professional societies, ASHRAE probably the most prominent one, and ESD, of course, were my most significant. Life lesson, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. My first engineering position was for a pipeline transmission company in Detroit. Had I applied for this position 3 years prior, they wouldn't have even considered me because they didn't hire women engineers. I was I was the only woman engineer at one time, and there was as many as 6 of us out of, I think about 200 engineers and draftspersons. The good news is I doubled my salary in 2 years. I was promoted 4 times in 5 years, finally as a senior codes and standards engineer. Life lesson, if you're different in any way, you will be recognized sooner. And this can either be very good or very bad. Fortunately for me, it was very good. So in my engineering, I wanted to work on things that were exciting, and I thought it would be really neat to work on the blasting effects to pipeline analysis. And so they let me do that, and then asked if we could actually strain gauge the pipelines and set some seismographs up and actually do some testing to see what the effects were. They actually let me do this. Again, I had 2 bachelor's degrees at this point. I was published, I contributed to a national standard, and then I asked if I could represent the company on an international committee that was supervising research being done. I did that, I was the only woman on it, and when they published their final report, they actually used some of my findings. Life lesson, don't be afraid to ask for what you want, even if you think the answer will be no. I always told my students this, don't say no to yourself. So I also went on, decided it was important for me to get my professional engineering certification. And this brought me other opportunities. I was able to start a consultancy, and it also opened the door to teaching, even though I didn't have a master's or a PhD. Enter Joe Olivieri. By the way, he was the 4th gold awardee from ESD. So that was what, 46 years ago. And Joe was my mentor. In the mid-'80s, he asked me if I was willing to teach some solar energy and HVAC classes as an adjunct. And I said yes. And then he encouraged me to go and get my master's degree, which I did at University of Michigan, Dearborn. I had many positions and participated in many activities from the 80s through the 21st century. I won't state all these, but you can see some of them here. But the point I want to make as a life lesson is, as an engineer, you can do many things. In fact, I believe you can do anything. In 2002, a former professor colleague asked if I wanted to come to Lawrence Tech full time. And I hadn't taught since, I think, 86 or 95, excuse me, at this time. I took a $20,000 cut in pay to become a tenure track, go into a tenure track position. I ended up teaching architectural students. And then when we set up a new program of architectural engineering, I also taught some of those students. All of the subjects I taught, I interlaced sustainability, and my students did very well. They placed first, second, or third in the International ASHRAE Student Design Competitions 9 out of 11 times submitted. I'm very proud of my students. Life lesson, there are more rewards than money to pursue. So in reflection, all of my bosses were men, all of my mentors were men, and most of my coworkers were men. According to the Society of Women Engineers, and this is the latest from 2017, 2018, women make up only 1% of the mechanical engineers, 13% of all engineers, and 17% of tenured track faculty in engineering. Life lesson, persistence while putting on blinders sometimes pays off. I didn't know how few of us there were, in other words. Concluding remarks, no one makes it without help. Never give up. You gain the most gratification when you've had to sacrifice. Final life lesson, life is not easy, but it's worth the fight. I buried 2 husbands since 2000. I overcame ovarian cancer. I've had multiple surgeries and broken bones. And as I've shared with all of you, we've had a year of worldwide pandemic. In spite of this, I'm so very thankful every day for all my many blessings. And especially, I want to lift up my only mentor who is still alive, and that's Don Arson, my high school counselor, who is on this web right now, which is so cool. When I thanked him, I'm going to choke up here. When I thanked him for all he did for me, he just said, I was just doing my job. Sorry. In closing, may all of you be blessed with wonderful mentors. May you become wonderful mentors, but particularly ones like Don Arson, so that you can help others envision things that you can't see for yourself, encourage you, help open doors for you, and to broaden your horizon and lift you up higher than you ever envisioned reaching in your lifetime. I also want to thank my husband, Joe Oberhauser, my late husbands, Gary Slater and Michael Flum, my supportive friends and relatives, the Detroit ASHRAE chapter for nominating me for this award, and of course, ESD and the Affiliate Council for selecting me to be the 2021 Gold Awardee. Thank you very much. I'm very honored and humbled.
Well, that was really warm and fuzzy.
Thank you, Don.
They can hear you.
Thank
Well,
you, Don.
that was excellent.
Thank you so much. Don is my high school counselor.
That was very, very rewarding.
Thank you. You deserve the acclamation.
Congratulations. Well.
Yeah, congratulations, Janice. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
We're still on. Goodbye.
Okay, you guys can turn off your sound and your video now. I am going to start talking about the Ann Fletcher Award. Ann Fletcher, an engineer and patent illustrator, was the first woman elected to the Engineering Society of Detroit Board of Directors. She was also the first woman on the Michigan State Board of Registration for Professional Community Planners. She served on numerous boards, including the American Polish Engineering Association and the Society of Engineering Illustrators. She was fellow of both the Engineering Society of Detroit and the Society of Women Engineers. Ann's accomplishments and contributions to both her profession and her community have inspired this tribute. Reflecting on Ann Fletcher's service and dedication, the past chairs of the ESD Affiliate Council have determined that Kimball Williams best represents these qualities and the intent of the award. Congratulations, Kimball. Kimball,
Thank
would
you,
you like
Janice.
to say a few things?
Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Engineering Society of Detroit, and especially the past chairs of the ESD Affiliate Council. Those of us who try to follow in the footsteps of Ann Fletcher realize that she was the essence of what we now think of as the Energizer Bunny. She could not be stopped. Just very, very impressive person and a wonderful person and very kind as well. I remember just a couple of years ago, Janice Means received this award for her dedication, and well deserved, and it honors me to follow in her footsteps as well. I thank you all, and thank you very much.
And now I'd like to call back up Paul Prentice from ASHRAE. Paul is the chair of the Honors and Awards Committee, and he will be presenting the Distinguished Service Award to Sonia Ponce.